Farmers make up less than 2% of the population, yet we need to feed 100% of the population. Being an advocate for our industry is extremely important. I'm Josh Henik, farm here near Mount Vernon, Iowa. Family farm, 7th generation farmer here. Raise mostly corn and soybeans. I have a few head of cattle, a little bit of alfalfa, and a lot of kids. We've been farming the same land since 1854. I'd like to see my children and their children and generations that I probably will never even know be able to farm the same land sustainably in the future as well. For that to happen, I need to do my part to make sure that we're being good stewards of the land and not just conserving the soil, but building the soil for future generations. That's the important part for me, is to always leave things better than I found it, because that truly to me is sustainability. It really started, probably back in the 70s or 80s with my grandfather. He was really big in cost share work on waterways, and that's really evolved over the years into some riparian buffer strips and CRP acres. And more recently, we've incorporated cover crops. All along the way, we have reduced our tillage, and that's been an evolving process. It's taken Mother Nature 10,000 plus years to develop the soils that we have here in Iowa, some of the best soils in the world. It might take 5, 10, 15 years to see some of the changes in the soils that we want to see. And for us as farmers to commit to those practices, I think is really key, but also having the support and the backing from consumers and policymakers, that the commitment to these long-term practices we need to see play out and pay off. I participated in the Policy Leaders Fellowship, and through that process, I learned a lot more about policy development and found new ways to advocate for Iowa farmers and be a part of some really cool conversations and get involved so that the farmer's voice is heard throughout the creation of things like the Farm Bill or the nutrient reduction strategy or any other future policy that might come along that affects Iowa farmers. In addition to farming here on our family farm, my other role is I am the agronomy instructor at Kirkwood Community College. One of the things that I have really taken a lot of pride in is working with beginning farmers and people either looking to go into the industry or go back to the farm, and talking about these principles of conservation, and not necessarily telling them there's one way to do it, but getting them really to think about the whole concept of conservation and think critically when they go back to those home operations to figure out what practices maybe will fit into their farm at home on their landscapes, and so that we can constantly be driving innovation and improvement across all of Iowa agriculture.